Hey, I'm Scott Woodward. I'm two-time Moscone Cup MVP, and you're watching Railbirds TV.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jeremy Jones with Railbirds TV Productions. You can see Roberto Gomez with the opening break in a round 3 match between himself and Marc Vidal. Two players that know each other, I'm sure, pretty well. You can see Roberto with his first 2 wins, Grant Kendall and Paul Smith Jr. in rounds 1 and 2 respectively. Now Marc, was a rotation player generally, and you can see Marco Tetcher he defeated, and also Eric Spain in round 2. So just going to get at that he's a guy that, like most of us, start out as pretty much a really good rotation player, and then started playing a lot more one pocket the last 6-7 years, I'd say. And then Roberto, who's been a great rotation player for a long time, and now plays more one pocket than he ever has, I would have to guess. Going to be 2 players that most likely get on with it. They know the game pretty well, both of them, but also play pretty aggressive as well. Okay, he's just going to try and hold him up in the stack again here. Roberto should get the best of this, and not just because of the way the balls lay, but I think he can get this cue ball back in the stack here. Playing off the ball near the cue ball, the 7. Okay, he may open the stack and run the cue ball, or ooh, this is a touchy shot. I guess you don't worry about fouling too much if you don't get a rail. Main thing is keep the cue ball in there, and I'd rather elevate over the stack trying to draw off the 7, I think. And it's going to cost him 1. Now, he didn't make it so easy for Marc to draw now back off that 7. The cue ball's much closer to the 8. So Marc kind of started getting this ball on the top of the stack. Kind of a shot I stay away from a little bit if I can. Sometimes you can't. He's going to take a foul back. But Roberto, you can see he has much more free reign with the cue ball if he has to surrender, keeping the cue ball in the stack. He can draw lightly off the 7 over to the side rail and still, start to let him out of it a little bit, but where Marc can come off the 2 ball in the next shot, something like that. But okay, and this is a shot the way the stack is, and you could get the 2 a little bit in play here when you bank it up and slide the cue ball by the 4, but got to make sure you don't give up some type of cutback bank on the 9. Players are so good these days at spinning that ball back and finding a way to get the cue ball traveling somewhat safe, and that's pretty good speed. Of course, you don't want to let them see the 2, but you don't want to let them have a bank at the 9 either. So maybe be a little more comfortable knowing you could hit the bottom of the 4 a little bit with the cue ball and still be probably okay. And therefore you don't let him see the 2, but I can't blame Marc there. He was pretty worried about the 9. That's a nice shot, especially not going all the way down with the cue ball. If you cut him off on the 4, this is going to pose problems. Now Marc's going to look at this 2 ball. That with the 6-5, but can he get at it? Unless he has to use the ball on top. If he has to do that, it just depends on how much he has to cut it. Meaning if he has to cut the 12 a lot onto the 6 to give the 2 a chance, well, he could kiss the, what is that, the 11? Nah, he couldn't really kiss the 11, I guess. But may have to take a foul here, getting down here towards that coin, that first diamond on the bottom rail near Roberto's pocket. Maybe he can softly get the 4 out. Well, he just gave it to him, and I think he's going to give up a cut shot, maybe. Maybe one that's not that bad. Maybe he can't get shape, I don't know. I think, just guessing, it may be too steep, but camera angle's full. So I think the 9 is makeable, but not really sure what's going to come about after. And it is definitely still missable, even for these players. Okay, probably going to draw off of the 14 ball, is it? He's shooting through the 4-8, another one. He probably won't get anything across on his side unless he tries to stick the cue ball on top of the stack. But if he goes forward, it'll probably be too light of a stroke and really probably giving up a free bank. So I think he's probably got to draw off the 14, which is near the 1 and the side pocket, and drop down below those 3 balls. I mean, got a lot of room there. You're off the rail with a cue ball. He's a really good player, Marc. Great player. I don't think he has to go for a shot here. Is he going to go 3 rails off the 10 with the cue ball, banking the 10 1 rail? Possibility. I just kind of feel like the 4-8, it's hard to get something near your pocket. If you don't get something near your pocket, you're going to give up some type of bank on the 14 or the 1, or maybe a kiss shot of some sort. Okay, touchy shot here. Another one. If he gives up the cue ball any, that's pretty nice. Pretty nice there. Roberto not taking much time, so he's feathered in the 13, it looks like, putting him back in the stack. Slowly but surely, though, Marc's just kind of keep the cue ball hidden maybe a time or two. He may get. Okay, gave up the 14 now, I believe. And I think this may twist back. Kind of lays all right, really. Just kind of figure out where you want to go with the cue ball, where you can play somewhat of still pocket speed here. Because you don't want to clear your own pocket trying to get the cue ball safe, meaning banking the 14 up and sweeping the 13 out or catching the 1. Watch out. Wow, how'd he hit it? May have a 3-ball combination here with the 12-6-3. He may be able to roll it or kind of soft draw it, maybe bump the 4. It's close. I think it's close. I think he can kiss right into the 4. I may give up a cut shot on the 5, though. Okay, he just decided to open the balls and stick the cue ball on the 2. Yeah, pretty hard to go up table here, especially jacked up, because you may not get the cue ball where you want jacked up, because you have to shoot through the 10. So maybe clip the 2 and drop down below the 3 here on the bottom rail. You got a couple balls on your side, and even though they're up table, you can't just go anywhere with the cue ball. that being Roberto. He could lay it down nice here, but he's got to hit it well. Tough shot. My advice when you jacked up like that, the tendency is to underhit it. I think he could almost. No, he can't shoot off the 4. Yeah, I think he can nick the 2 though and come to the side rail with hair spin and just drop the cue ball below the 3 pretty easily. And it's going to sell out a shot there. Maybe 2 to choose from. You got jacked up there. And when so many to choose from, it kind of figure if I go either way, I get a little angle, but I always kind of say get the run started with a shot or 2 before trying to open any. But that's a little bit of bad luck too. He makes this though. I don't expect him to try and move the cue ball for a clean shot, but probably a cross corner bank. Okay, he stabbed it in. Ended up not getting shape. He tried to pull shape instead of rolling it. Not really much offensive here. I think the long rail bank on the 13 ball looks a little bit thin. Maybe come straight across with the cue ball, but I think he's going to play it pretty safe. And all things considered, Marc should feel pretty good about it. Because there's now he could bank the 10 if he wanted and just go naturally to the end rail with the cue ball. The 11's not going to be worth shooting at, and I don't believe the 4 goes. Not sure the 4 would be worth shooting at anyways. This is where I think with 3 to -1, I might challenge from here. And if you don't want to, that's fine too. I mean, if you do make the bank, you're not going to have a cherry shot of any sort. The 14's playable, but tough shot. He's looking at a combo bank, maybe. Kind of shot, though. I think you're only really playing for 1. I'm looking at it again. Maybe the 4 goes by the 13 ball. But still, from the end rail, the 12 doesn't go by the 6. It'd be a pretty tough shot to shoot at the 4. I like this 10 ball play here. Be aggressive again. Don't underhit it. Pretty full hit, so yeah, that's not bad. He's going to have him really long and tough, straight. Can't roll forward for a great bank on the 10. He can get to a bank, but I think that shot was worth it. Even though, you know, Roberto might play something back at you that stings a bit. Oh, he's going to shoot the 4, huh? Or roll this in, I guess. Oh, he's elevating. He could roll it and go forward, be pretty safe. Go past the 14 a bit and be pretty safe, but oh, he hit it great. Thing about shooting it jacked up is that right there, is you're taking on a pretty tough shot and a pretty tough way to shoot it, which I understand wanting to shoot it jacked up, but there's didn't look like much reward, but he sure did hit it great. So Roberto, who originally had 0 to 1 also, now has 4. You can see Marc Vidal still at -1. Roberto did break in the opening game. Looks like he's coming off the 12 ball. No, not the 12. Oh, he hit that nice. May rub the 2 just right. That was the 10 ball, it looks like. Nice. Roberto can't see the 2 now. That turned out pretty sweet for Marc. I don't think he really can see most of the 2, maybe a little bit of it. Roberto likes to spin these balls in though. Oh, he just flat cut it. He's gonna end up with something, isn't he? No. Not a real easy bank on the 10 ball either. The combo doesn't look like it's worth going for. Hard to gain position. I may kick this 10 in. I might try and kick it in. Kick and stick behind it with a lot of low right English. It's a little steep, but and you can't really baby it. You kind of shoot it a little bit, but I think there's a good chance of making it. Yeah, I like it, actually. I think it sits nice. Okay, that was all right, too, and that was very intended. Trying to get 1 on his side. Now he can go forward on this bank combination with shape on the 2. Oh, and look at this. Wow. If he had pocket speed on the 3, that would have been really good. I tell you, he shouldn't be fooled here. I may long rail bank this ball instead of shooting through this. If he doesn't do real well with the cue ball here. Yeah, I think Marc may be able to cross corner this 6 and spin into the 12. Oh, well, it's not the 12, the 10 on the side rail, excuse me. It's close. Or bank the 12 into the back of the 6. Them balls jumbled up near the spot. I'd have looked at that one a little bit more if I was Roberto. Just saying, is I know moving that ball off his side, there's some value, but he's got one near his hole, and I may want to see him have to defend a little bit more rather than trying to. Because when he's got one close to his pocket like this, your opponent, and you don't have one close to your pocket, he's going to try and do something to create trouble for you, just like that. He's not going to just simply bun a ball away that's 3 diamonds away from your pocket most of the time. Okay, probably going to kick into the side rail and bump the 6 out. Touchy shot. Well, he didn't make the bank, and he just barely caught the 6 coming in. Now, can Marc get up on that 9? I would be interested in doing that right now. Because the 3, I mean, it only leads you to the 9 anyways, really. And it's a tricky little shot to get real nice on the 3 right now. Well, it looks like he may draw it. I thought he'd just come up above the 9. Oh, he hit that pretty nice, though. But if you get above the 9, you can open the 5-8 up a little bit. Now he's got to kind of work the cue ball to get that angle. Oh, he got it. I think I wouldn't try to control this one too much. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't just blast it, but I wouldn't just draw lightly off the 8 here. I think I'd go through this ball. Well, it turned out nice. Now Marc did 0-1, so he's at 2 to the good, even though we have 7 on the table. But take a chance getting on the 8 here probably. Should hit it well enough, I think, to get there. Hold for a bank after you run a couple off. Oh, he rattled it. Very unexpected. You can see the frustration. He's making a nice run right there. Roberto's got to be relieved. I'm sure he can spin this ball in. He could flat cut it in. We saw one earlier down the rail that was super thin. Didn't take any time shooting it. I think he's supposed to shoot this, really. The 5's funny to get out. I mean, not only that, it's great a player. Don't worry about the 5 too much, I wouldn't. Oh, he hit it great. And the last ball is going to be conceded. It'll be Marc Vidal's break in game number 2, trailing 1-0. This is a round 3 match from the 2020 Derby City Classic One Pocket Division. And Marc had a nice chance to try and steal that game. See what he can do here in game number 2. Sounded like a nice break, and you can see pretty good. Not sure for Roberto. He's always going to check the stack. Can he play something into the 11 into the 5 ball? It's not taking much time, so she's just burying him behind the 4. Good shot, getting the 11 open. Yeah. If he has some worry with the stack, he's got to kick at the 6, really, and I think that might be the shot anyways. Just play it with a nice speed. If you don't hit the 6, that's fine. Could shoot through the 7 and the 11, removing both of those, but with the 5 and the 14 jumbled up the way they are, okay, he's just going to coast off of the stack. That's pretty good. It's not bad. Now, if I was Roberto, I may look at what I think is the 13 ball just below the 2. See what that looks like with that little bank alley, kind of where that goes between the 15 and the 5 and back into the 5 with the 13 ball and the ball that's just below the 2. And could he swing the cue ball a couple rails back up to straight in on the 3, something like that. The 11 wasn't there, it'd be really nice, because the 11's a big ball, slowing the cue ball down to getting up table. So doesn't quite have enough angle on the 7 to do much like a 2-railer and kind of swing the cue ball. So touchy little shot here. Well, that's some great control, I'll tell you. Really nice. Cut him off on everything. Didn't let him see the 13, really. Not enough of it anyways. Laid him on the rail real hard to come off the 15 ball. um, accurately. Really nice shot there. I think he's supposed to spin bank the 7 up table and let the cue ball crash into the 11. And I think it lays decent to where just play the nice full hit into the 11 and ignore where the 7 goes. It's going to be okay going towards your pocket somewhat. And yeah, that's the shot I like. I mean, and he made it. You got to kind of send something at your pocket, especially kind of still try to keep your advantage of this game to start with, which was breaking the balls. Not sure you got much to shoot at. 3 ball's a little scary, especially if you can't get shape. I think he can get down on a 1-4 combination, about the middle diamond maybe. He got down there for a shot on the 4 actually, and so a couple big shots here to open this match. One in game 1 that can't really explain the miss by Marc. It was, I mean, we all do it, but I didn't expect it. And then after he's made a bunch of nice shots, and that one there was definitely missable. Just gonna try and jam these. Oh, he sent it up table. Pretty crafty. And look at the 4, it kind of laid funny to where, well, I can't really do a whole lot with it. He's got to be careful because the kick on the 5-14 ball combination, if he leaves some gaps on the cue ball here, trying to do something with the 6, he could not only leave a long railer on the 4, which is probably the least of your worries, but some type of kick shot on the 5-14. You can see how that's kind of lined up towards Roberto's pocket. Like he's almost at, I mean, I would look at that. It's a pretty big ball to hit on the 5 where you're not selling out either, and sending the 14 right at that 6, I think. Maybe the one's in the way, I don't know. The one's any kind of in the way, you don't want to really mess with it, but looks like a kick he could be pretty accurate with. The 2 rail kick isn't lay too well, but just 1 rail right at it, I think lays better. Well, he's shooting a little soft spin shot, maybe. Yeah, trying to get the cue ball somewhat safe into the 5 or behind it. Pretty good shot. Knowing the 1-6 is kind of doubled up for any banks. And again, left it really tough to get behind the 6 easily. I think I would definitely cut this 5 ball and let the cue ball run 1 rail into this top rail on the top corner pocket on Roberto's side. He could remove both of these, but still you got to deal with a 5-14 ball that's a little dangerous. Ooh, this, okay. Not bad. Probably thin the 1. It's kind of dangerous though. Just got to hit it well, and I wouldn't worry about much if I'm Roberto. Just, is he trying to go up table with this somehow? Or 2 rail the 1 into the 5-9 maybe? Or swing the cue ball? Yeah, I think if you just edge it, you fall on the side rail. Not giving up anything. Yeah, not giving up the 12. You got to know you got a lot of cover. Still with, you got to make the bank on the 4 as extreme cut as possible, even though you know he's probably going to shoot it. But thing is here, can he get the cue ball really safe and get the 4 near the hole? Pretty good speed. really trying to make sure that he didn't give up a cross corner bank on the 4. This 4 ball lays funny, but I think he can cross it. He can come one rail and kiss the 5 also. It's pretty safe, I think. I like doing that rather than trying to put inside and flirting with a scratch up in the corner. Okay, and that, turning the cue ball loose going up and down, but Mark's going to look at this combination, I guess. So he's just going to pop this in like a 9-ball shot, I guess, is what he's looking at, the 9. 9-15. I think he just soft kick on the 6 right here. He's looking at this combination, and not that it's not playable. He's looking at how tight it is going by the 5. If it's any kind of tight to me, and do you really get shape on the 5? Is the 5 shootable? Do you have to like follow the cue ball into the 13-5 to open it up off of a combination? So pretty big game here for Mark. Both guys, of course, but trailing 1-0 and broke this game. So I think this is probably the best shot. And Roberto has more of a chance if it comes to a kicking behind the balls, of fouling just the way the balls are laying. Roberto kicks great, but just he doesn't have a real secure path. And a couple shots later here. Yeah, I'm not sure what he can get at here. Looking at maybe doing something off the 12, banking that back into the 4-6 and sweeping the cue ball 2 rails around the 14-5 there. Yeah, I think that's okay. Gotta go ahead and put something into it, though. Yeah, that's why I say he caught that ball, though, and that's going to hurt. Not sure if he really sold out a shot. It's close. If Roberto can get at the 12 or not. Okay, he's kind of jumping it, maybe. Okay, I'm not sure if he can get enough draw on the ball here. He may try and go up and down. If he draws it, if he could get into like the edge of the 11, or man, I think I draw this slowly, somewhat slowly, and maybe get into the edge of the 11. He's going to try and go up and down, I think. He's got to beat hitting that ball up table. Slow down the cue ball. Oh, he went 3 rails. What a great shot. Roberto's so talented. Really got a little unlucky the way he laid. He's jacked up on a 14 that goes by the 4, or 15 ball, excuse me. He's got a shot on the 4. Pretty thin on the 1. An inch up or inch down here, and it's pretty golden to get these 3 and maybe break out the rack and get even more. But now he may have to draw back into this 14, I'm guessing, maybe. May just kill it with a lot of outside. Yeah, I like the... Can't really roll forward easily off the 4 either, and it's a missable ball jacked up, but to get on a bank. I'm not sure he gets a shot shooting the 15 ball. I think he has to shoot the 1 and either go into the 14 to slow the cue ball down. I don't think he'll go up and down the table. But Roberto, he can kill the cue ball heavily also from kind of extreme angles. Okay, he went into the 14 is what he was trying to do. And I think that was you know, as good a percentage play as possible probably. Oh, we're knotted at 2 balls apiece here in game number 2. I'm Jeremy Jones with Railbird TV Productions. It's the 2020 Derby City Classic One Pocket Division. It's Roberto Gomez at the table against Marc Vidal. Roberto, you can see 1 game 1. It's a race to 3. Well, the cue all got away from a bit there, but I don't really see much for Marc to shoot straight at his pocket. Now this 2-rail kick right here is laying decent. I know there's some gaps, but meaning hit the long rail, the bottom rail. I think that's the 14 ball that's nearest Roberto's pocket, and kick it up and come back up the table with the cue ball. You can see it can go into the edge of the 15 ball. It could go into the 4. You could kick it kind of towards the hole. You'd like the balls that you're kicking that 14 into a little more toggled, you might say. Not, not really any gaps, but it's a sweet shot. He's cutting the 2, huh? Okay, Roberto, he probably kick banked this 2 ball. Excels at these types of shots, and he can go up table and not give up a shot, I believe. Is he looking at something else? Maybe bank combination was sticking him up. Yeah, like that. So kind of similar to game 1 as far as the breaker getting a little lead, but then the person who didn't break the ball is kind of coming back and getting the balls on their side. It happens a lot when you don't get out off that shot or get a big lead off that shot from getting the advantage breaking the balls. You can tell that's Josh Roberts on the right there hitting balls. Another great player. Marc's just going to feather the... Oh, he kind of opened him there. That's scary with not a lot of balls on your side. Because you'd think the 9's some protection, and it is, but got to be careful there. One thing, if you have some up on your side that you know the guy can't go a lot of places on you. But if you can shoot that, really. I don't think it's a cold-blooded hanger. It might be if you just totally ignore the cue ball and warp it in with some high ball. With low English, it doesn't look so... Oh, wow, it just went straight on in. He kind of punched it. Came away with the shot on the 3. I think the only shape he has is a thin one on the 14, maybe, if he can hold the cue ball. Maybe a combination on the 4 or 14. Must have a little angle here, because otherwise he'd just hold the ball and shoot the 14 and either get on the 10 or open the 11 and 8 and 15 ball. So he must be falling a little towards the 4 with the cue ball. He's letting his stroke out. Yeah, I kind of figured that one out after I saw him kind of get that Superman look, like he was going to go a little more full speed. I think this ball goes. Maybe not, but it looks like it to me. He can hold his ball nicely. May give up a thin cut on the 12, but all the banks are pretty covered up. Not sure exactly. He can come off the 14 and drop below the 9. Touchy shot. Catch any kiss, you go right off in the corner pocket and scratch. Sometimes you got to learn to kick one rail and lay that 9 on the bottom rail where it's not bankable. I'm not saying that has to be done here, but I wouldn't blame him if he shot this, really. I really wouldn't. It's kind of shot you usually see pretty well. Got a nice shot on the 10. Scores 4-3 in game 2. It's a race to 3. Oh, he hit that thick. And the ball's going to spot as well. Did another one go in somewhere, or was that in Roberto's pocket? No, it wasn't. Just come one row out between the 9 and 14 ball. I think he got perfect here to come one row across for the 8 for the game ball. He's sitting okay, but that ball's pretty deep there. I wouldn't worry about it too much, or if I like shooting this with draw, like I think I normally do for my game ball. Yeah. Marc Vidal is going to take a break. And Roberto Gomez now out to a 2-0 lead. That break won't be long. And here we are back. Winning the lag in the first 2 games. Pretty big favorite from here, even though it's only a race to 3. So still have to make Roberto. Not sure what it is now. That if you're into what do they call it? Live betting. The odds just changed a little bit with that scratch. Don't really see a whole lot of great things to mess with. Now the 4-ball could be a makeable combination for Marc. There's some kiss shots that are playable. Not anything that's worth a hoot. You could play the 10 and drop the cue ball down maybe below the, what is that, so you're going to try and play the 11 into the 14 ball, trying to move balls here. It's a dangerous shot because of the 3 and the 8, or the 5 and the 8. See, ooh, he hit it pretty well, but actually hit it really well. Didn't really get any bad kisses knocking another ball across. Now, one thing about those shots right there, if you can remember, the long time I always overhit those trying to really create that movement. It doesn't take much to make them balls move when they're hitting half ball hits and third ball hits. And you usually have a lot, really nice, better control with the cue ball and actually laying the balls near your pocket. I'm not sure what he can see here with these balls. Hit the 8, but he could easily give up a bank there. Not sure what he was trying, but maybe just to kiss it and go up the table a little bit more, possibly. That turned out pretty nice. Banking the 8 into the 9, playing cue ball up table. How does Marc shoot here? He's going to inspect the stack, but not so sure he really shoots the 9 ball and blasts the stack towards Roberto's pocket. Now, if he's got a playable combination on the 11-4, that's different. Roberto go at even. Roberto could play an aggressive shot here, trying to bank the 1 into the rail off them balls, but back into the stack off them balls. I think he just rolls through here like that, making sure Marc can't see the 3 ball, can't see much of the 15 ball, and laying him on the rail with the cue ball. As he come back into the stack, take a little chance there with the 15. He's got to be careful with the 15 if he does. Okay, he just laid him behind the stack. That ball going in might have helped him because I think Roberto had a cross corner on the 15 maybe. Now this ball should spot somewhat behind the 5 and kind of cover that up. Maybe give up a bank on it. I don't know. Does the 6 spot to where Roberto can see enough of it to bank it? He's looking at a 2-railer on the 7 now. A 2-rail on the cue ball back behind maybe the 9 or the 8. Kind of fell funny here. Doesn't really have much of a cut on the 8. Bank on the 9's not that great. Could draw softly off the stack though, maybe. I don't know. Can he get at the 7 here? Maybe do something nice putting him on the rail with the cue ball, but yeah, he didn't get there. That's going to be upsetting. I think he definitely let him see the 9, at least to where he can bank it into the 8 maybe, or maybe even go through it and get behind the 8 and get the 9 over on his side. We'll see. He was trying to elevate and just kind of shove the cue ball over a little bit. Now the 1 plays, so that might make this 9 to where he wants to pop this in a little bit. It's pretty steep, you can see from this camera angle. Cross corner maybe though. Okay, he's going to play it behind the 8. Pretty solid shot. The way the stack lays too, I mean. Yeah, I'm not sure what he should do here. I mean, he can bump the 8, just kind of lay below it, but scary kind of aiming it towards the 1 any kind of way. And with the stack the way it lays, Roberto may get creative on you in a couple shots. Very hard to roll out up table somewhere doubled up. It looks like anyways. The 1 banks from a few places, so it's touchy here. Roberto's such a straight shooter. Is he going to masse here? Is he going to elevate and masse back behind the 8? That's touchy. I think he's just got to bump it and see what develops. No, and he does have some kicking areas. There is a place up there to get him doubled up on the 10 and the 6-9. And I think Marc should stick down this path here with nothing on the bottom rail, nothing very cuttable. Is he going to kick this up? Ugh. Yeah, just stay there. That's right. I'm just trying to get it to where they're frozen to the rail, the cue ball, and to the 8, and then you have to shoot away. Oh, that's good for Marc there. He should squeeze one more time, I think. Yeah, he could probably start to get it up a little bit here, the 8 ball away from the rail where he could get out of this little situation. Now you want to bump it up a little bit more this time if you can. Yeah, should be all right. Now Roberto, he could edge this 8 over, okay? Make it underneath the stack and go straight up to the middle of the end rail and make things very difficult on Marc because moving the 9 from the middle of the end rail is not easy, especially protecting against a bank. Maybe not laying quite there just yet. Yeah, see this ball near the hole is actually easier to kick out. I don't think he was really trying to make it. Don't think it was a makeable shot. But now it's actually a little easier for Marc to get out of the jam because you just simply kick the 8 out and it kind of tells your opponent what to do. Is he banking at this 9 trying to sweep the 8? This would be a heck of a shot. Caught it a little thin. So Roberto Gomez up 2-0, trailing 1-0 in this game, but that won't last very much longer. I think he tries to gain position here. Yeah, like that. Because if he gets to where he likes it, he may kill the cue ball or go lightly into the pack here and then have a bank on the 1. Yeah, he got a shot. Now can he get around the 5? May have a... Yeah, I think he can actually. May even sit to come and get on the 11. Go around the 5 and get on the 11. It's up table just past the side pocket on the left. Rather than trying to put inside and check this ball, making it missable, I think. Yeah, I like that. See how he was trying to kill it, hit downward with inside. Maybe just let it run on its natural path there. If you have to make a little tougher, longer shot on the 3, but you might have gotten behind the 11. But just what Marc Vidal needed, a clean shot here. It really hadn't had a great one since he had a little bit of one in game 2, but game 1 he's probably forgotten about, but he had a little bit of an opportunity to steal it. Okay, that's going to get a little straight on the rails, so not going to get the breakout opportunity that Marc was hoping for. But he can get this this 14 down and then get a bank on the 15. Marc grabbing the lead back. Okay, I like the way he shot that. I think he knew that he wasn't giving up a shot, but it was shot with a little more conviction, and it got him some shape without really selling out. I mean, there's a cut on that ball, I guess, but now this is the one I may have worried about a little more. It's a bank on the 3 that really opens up some opportunity for Roberto to get shape on the 2. Not sure what he's doing here. He's shooting it? Yep. Got kind of flat on this ball, so he can't take a whole lot of chances trying to hit the ball, trying to get shape on something that's not easy because the 5's near Marc's pocket. So he can't essentially trap himself after pocketing this 2 ball. And I don't think there's quite enough angle to get on the 2 balls up table on the right side. He should tie the score with this 2 ball though, and could do pretty well to go maybe fall forward a little bit and kick and stick the 5 ball out, clearing it up above the 4, something like that. If he tries to go one rail with some kind of forcing the ball back into the 12 and the 6 and the 4, things could really get bad. Could turn out good though also. I think all in all, you just roll this in and then kick and stick the 5 out. Could kick it, I guess, but I don't think you're going to kick this towards your pocket. And just to the short cushion. Good controlling speed just in case it did go into them balls. No, he hit that nice. Left the cue ball on the rail. Not so easy for Marc to get more balls on his side here. Now he could bank the 11 with the 4 hovering over the side, but if it mishits at all, gets a double kiss, could give up a shot on maybe that 7 ball up the table. And I wouldn't say I know a ton about Marc's 1 pocket. I know he plays a lot of it in Denver and other places, obviously, here in Louisville, or Indiana rather. You can see it. from Caesar, Southern Indiana. Yeah, I think I would leave maybe the 13 that's near the side. I think it is. Could be the 11. Hard to tell sometimes on the screen, but yeah, I'm not sure I like it so much. I think I kind of dig what he's doing here, shooting the 7 into the 10 and going, oh, he's banking at it. Yeah, I thought he was just moving them, like going forward to the end rail, kind of pushing them out of the way. The 11 didn't bank near the side. He could handle a ball going on the spot. The 4 certainly wasn't shootable from like the first diamond on the end rail, but nothing wrong with that. He obviously liked it and felt like it was laying well. Well, big shot here that I think carries the cue ball right into that solid above the 12. I think that's the 5 ball. It should open up the 6 and the 12. Oh, he got a lot of draw on it. I think that, was he getting shape for that ball? Wow. Well, that's too good, Roberto. I don't know if he got there. That he can spin it, I believe. Now, getting shape, that's a different story. Oh, he can. Well, still live for Marc. He needs them all here in Game 3, and he needs all the games. But hey, that's pool player. That's what it's all about. Still at the table. And both these guys were undefeated, so no matter the outcome here, we'll see them both back in round number 4. Yeah, he could 2-rail this ball with speed, trying to make it, and if it misses, it goes up table. That's going to have to need some good speed, not to sell out a bank, and it's okay. Actually, all in all, it worked out pretty nice, really. Not so easy for Roberto to get a ball or 2 balls on his side. Maybe if he goes into the 11, he may give up a shot. Oh, great cue ball. And that's just exactly how you're supposed to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Which really on Roberto's end has been pretty flawless. He's had a few things, mishaps, a couple misses, but overall, he's played fabulous. And Marc's played pretty well too. I like the way he was moving. He missed that 1 ball in the first game, and then had another shot in the second game he missed that he felt like he should have had, I'm sure. But he's played pretty solid, and like I said, I like the way the patterns of the moves he was making. Now, do you cross corner this? Do you go for this? I think it's pretty thin. Watch out for the 2-rail scratch in the corner. Roberto taking no time here. He's going to ease this ball in. Trying to end this match and move on to round number 4. Well, how do you say it? It's always the first one and the last one that are the toughest to get. I guess those are balls, games, doesn't matter. Points, however you want to look at it. But again, Marc Vidal still in it. Oh, a really nice shot here, especially if he gets a rail. Maybe like perfect speed. Did he cut him off that 13 on the bottom rail? The short rail there. Looks like he's, had to elevate a little bit. Nice shot. Marc will 2-rail this, though. You got to try to do it, even if you feel like there's a kiss. You got to try and manufacture getting by that kiss, whatever you feel like A little more stroke on the ball, a little more speed, giving it a chance to go. Maybe avoids the kiss a little bit more. Okay. Gave it a great shot. Hit it perfect. Well, Marc Vidal not giving up. Now, if he had a hair more angle, you could see him shooting this solid in here and getting that 3-rail bank on the 10. I'm not sure he's going to hit enough speed on the cue ball here to do that. Hit it just a hair thick. You could see there with the cue ball. Probably wasn't going to get much more, but would have loved to get that one down. You going to 2-rail kick at this? Okay, I think he kind of looked at that initially. Not sitting bad, actually. When you're close to it and the other balls are out of play, I mean, they're not totally out of play, but I can't blame these guys for that 2-rail kick shot. Another one here. Do you try to beat the kiss? Because the kiss is definitely involved if you're trying to make the 3. Somewhere around the head string, so he's just going to cross it over. He could see that. And if you beat the kiss, maybe the scratch on that shot by the 10 in the upper left-hand corner is a possibility also. So I think Marc probably a good choice there, even though needing all 3. Meaning he wasn't going to try and talk himself into a bad decision, even though he needs all 3, and that's a sign of a good player, great player. Okay, touchy shot here if he gives up a long rail bank, making this 4-ball, and I think it turned out okay. Just knocked the 4 in the side, floated the cue ball up near the 10 here, and I think this ball may twist if he could reach it well enough to really feel accurate, and that being the 10. But yeah, he's just gonna. Well, that's okay. But Roberto's. Well, I don't know. Roberto may put all 3 on the spot here, knocking the 3-ball in and just keeping him up here on the in rail. I probably wouldn't. I'd probably shoot these 2 balls away. Only need 1. Yeah, like that. Now, I think with a ball on his side, he should take a chance at moving both these here, the 4 and the 10. Oh, he missed the 10. And he didn't get him on the rail. It worked out okay, though. I think the 3 got up enough, fortunately, to where maybe hard for Roberto to be able to tack on this 10 ball. But if you could see if the 3 and the 4 kind of stayed together down there a little bit, Roberto just crossed this over and run the cue ball back down table. Okay, he's got to be careful here if he's crossed the 10 over. And 10 could get over there on top of the 4 and give up some type of long rail crossover bank for Roberto to win this match. Pretty good speed on the cue ball, but if he didn't have good speed, I think he left it in a funny position. But if it's just 2 inches to the left, Roberto's got a pretty free roll at the 3. So really nice with the cue ball coming down to somewhere right at the center of the table on the bottom rail. Maybe he can still bank it. No, he can't. Is the 4 not 2-rail here? Maybe the 10's in the way of the 2-railer on the 4. I kind of felt like the 4 might 2-rail. He's just moved the 3 over. This two-reeler goes, huh? So I was worried about this camera angle. I couldn't quite tell. But with high inside or just high, he can two-reel this right out of his pocket, it looks like. Pretty good speed. And Mark looking at a long rail bank on the 10. Cross cornered the 4. Pretty well. He's got to watch out for a little bad kick. Roberto may have a cross corner on the 3. I believe it's the 3. I'll tell you, Roberto's got to be careful here moving that 4 ball without turning the cue ball loose. That's why I kind of like maybe playing the 3. I understand things could go bad from there, and there's other things you could do. Double kissed it. Well, there you go for Marc Vidal. He's got a long railer on the 3 ball that I believe is sitting okay to shoot decently aggressive and try and get a bank on the 4. Maybe produce something on the 10. But the good thing is not have to sell out either. Meaning you want to shoot at banks that don't have to be hit perfectly to not be selling out. You want a little bit of room for error, even though you want to hit the bank well, but it looks like he hit it great. He got a little funny on the 10 and a little stretch, so it may be the 4 ball. He should come across with high inside here. I think, anyway, unless the camera's fooling me, but he's going to look at this 10. I hate to play a tentative kind of stroke where I got to draw past it and kill it, but not hit it too hard, not to sell out the 4. You can't hit it with a high ball, I don't think. So I really kind of like the 4 and bring the cue ball to the same side of the table as the 4, meaning this long rail at the bottom of your screen. Let the cue ball run a little bit here, maybe for a 2-reeler on the 10 or something like that. Nah, he hit it decent. But you see he's left this 2-reeler here, and if you get it over here on the side rail, kind of on the same first diamond, that's real hard to bank if you're Roberto. Well, it's going to be close. That one's going to be close and not easy to remove. So I think I probably elevate here and try and jump this ball off the table. From distance, following it in, excuse me. Not an easy task, and it doesn't look so easy to dig out. Possible both ways, meaning following the ball in or kind of jamming it out of there, but he's elevating, so maybe he's jumping it. Oh, he was trying to get it out, so he's going to give up a spot shot here. Maybe not. Is this 10 going to go in? That would have been crazy if that ball, if he didn't scratch and made that ball somehow. Wow. So we'll see if Roberto, what type of shot he wants to play. There's, of course, an aggressive shot where you can set the cue ball up behind the head, right at the head string there. Little angle on the balls and draw off of the ball, trying to make the top ball go through the 10 ball. The top ball on the spot there. That's kind of exactly where I like to put it myself. Straight draw, full hit on the top ball. It should trickle towards the hole. And remember, you want to put a good stroke on it. He's going to go ahead and move these. And I don't blame him. With the 4 ball close to the hole, I think that's, oh, he's playing the 2-rail kick. Now, this ball fell over a little funny. I think I just crossed it over lightly. You don't want to cross it all the way over to your hole. Maybe get it underneath the 11, the 10 and the 3. And get the cue ball back up table with just a high inside ball, something like that. High left. Don't try to get it to your pocket. You give up the cue ball then, and actually if you get it over there, it's easier to remove. If you get it underneath the 10 and the 3, ooh, he caught a kiss, and that's going to give up the match for Marc Vidal. Most likely, anyways. An unfortunate way to lose game 3. And well, you got to give it to Roberto. He played great. Marc played pretty darn well too. Just a few things got away from him. But anyways, both these guys will be back in round 4. Thank you very much. I'm Jeremy Jones for Railbird TV Productions. Have a good night.